Okay. All right. Okay. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. You are now watching Unks in the building. UNCS Unks in the building. Resident Unk Byron here with the fantastic Auntie Stacy.
Hello.
Today, we will once again be your best friends while talking about Reddit stories. Showtime.
I'm ready. Are you ready? All right. This is from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole?
We love those.
Am I the a-hole for making the Age of Empires 2 New Villager sound when my wife gave birth to our first child? I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. Just over a week ago, my wife gave birth to our first child. I got called about it during work and rushed to the hospital to be with her during the labor. It was obviously a very stressful time as it took more than 15 hours from start to the end.
My goodness.
But finally, our little one was born and was healthy. I was in the room for nearly the entire time, other than briefly heading out for food, toilet, etc. Holding her hand and being the punching bag, in quotes, as she swore during certain times during the worst of it. It was getting towards the end, just as the head was coming out, and it all happened very quickly from then. More medical staff came into the room, and I was someone who gets nervous around lots of people. And I am someone who gets nervous around lots of people. I think because of that nervousness, I was talking a bit more, introducing myself to the new people coming in, making jokes, saying I hope it's not a bad omen that the weather is so bad because a thunderstorm had started outside that we could hear. And then our baby finally came out fully. At that second, I made the Age of Empires 2 New Villager sound. And then, you know what it sounds? What's the sound?
So, it's funny because I don't.
He put in quotes, he puts, shh, ooh.
I don't remember it.
Okay.
I can honestly say I played the first game with a few of my friends long time ago when we were in high school. We used to play that game. It was on the computer. It was very old. I don't even know if we was in high school. Might have been in middle school. I don't know.
This was a year ago that he said this.
I know.
So people are still... What's this
people,
the 2?
No,
Second round.
Yeah, the game is still something people just love. They update it or whatever, but I don't personally play it.
Okay.
But I don't remember it.
Okay. So it sound shh as a joke.
Why does that sound familiar?
But I think only my wife understood the reference, as the doctor and nurses gave no reaction. And the look she gave me could have sunk 1,000 ships. She looked so angry. Before then, seeing our little one and finally smiling, but didn't look at me for about half an hour. And even then, she was really annoyed for the rest of the day. Anyway, I thought it was a joke that went down badly in the moment of high anxiety. But my wife has twice in the past week told me that I ruined a moment that she would have hoped would be one of the best in her life. I've apologized both times, but she has this look I've not seen before. Something beyond disappointment. It's really put a downer on the past 9 days of what I thought would be our happiest time together, after what was obviously a very stressful time for her. Mostly, of course. Am I the a-hole?
I find that hilarious. I'm sorry. And the fact that it's like, I don't remember the sound, but it kind of gave me a memory. Right. And I was like, I know villager. Exactly the moment that he's talking about.
It's
I know. It's like, because they put him in this little hut.
Yeah.
And you got to wait for the little time to go across. And you work to get the little, oh my gosh.
But it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Because you're thinking of it like a sitcom. He sounds like a bumbling idiot.
We understand nerves and all of that stuff.
And then he was nervous, and then he's talking, introducing himself, and then he made the sound like a Dorcas.
Yeah.
But in real life, where things are really high stress. I mean, like, really, and this person is born, this new person into your life that should make you more.
I mean, like a villager coming out of.
I know, but it feels like he has no emotion about it.
I don't think that was it at all.
That's what the wife is thinking. This should be a beautiful moment where you see your child where you see her go through all she went through, and you're like,
so let's talk about it.
Let's do a game reference and not be emotionally invested here.
So let's talk about it because let's square this away. Ayo, no. I don't think he's an a-hole for doing it. I think that it was stupid to do in that moment.
Yeah.
But that's it's kind of in the eye of the beholder situation. Because had he been with somebody who was just as nerdy and dorky as him, they probably would have been like, that was right on time.
Not with all of that. That's a lot.
You don't know.
It's 15 hours.
I know, but I'm just saying there's some people, it's just kind of like, there's levels to it, right? While I love video games, we was talking about this the other day, how we saw some people, we was talking about cosplay and people dressing up in the costumes and all that stuff. And it's like, well, we weren't talking about video games. We was talking about Star Wars. And I was saying, while I love Star Wars, I would never dress up. Like I would, it's just not my thing. And it's just like, there is a group of people that's like, this is what they do. It's almost a religion. In some cases, I think they actually treat it as a religion. And they dress up and they force this and all of that stuff. And they're really into it. And it's the other side together. And it's like, if you are with somebody who's into it at that level with you, and you are not, that person who is not going to get it.
Right. So that's why I'm saying he should have, in the moment, he had to read the room. And the room was not. It sounded like he wasn't. I was getting nervous. A bunch of people were in there. I don't think he focused enough on what she wanted him to focus on. And I think she wanted him to you're in the room so you could be by this person's side and you can go through this together as much as you can together when she's the one going through all the pain. But the emotional support, making sure that you're an advocate for her, because, a lot of women die during childbirth. So it's like making sure, that doesn't sound right, do this for her, like that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like really taking the gravity of what it is seriously and looking at this as like, okay, fatherhood, this is it. I'm here, I'm witnessing it. And maybe he took it too lightly in her mind.
Lightly. Maybe. Yes. I think that this was a case of just like, I don't want to call him an a-hole. I want to say
I wouldn't say he's an a-hole. He's just
a dorky moment for him when he sat back here.
I don't know if dorky is too small. I think it's a little bit bigger than dorky. He
also doesn't handle his stress well.
Right.
So
it's not dorky.
Like, but it's both.
It's bigger than that.
he's.
She knows he's a gamer. She married a gamer. That if that's a problem, she shouldn't be married to him because
it's true.
That's going to be a tough battle through and through.
Right. But I think he just wasn't handling stress well.
Right.
And it's like on that show we watched a while ago, and the guy was talking like, I'm a soldier and I'm doing all this. What was that? Squid Games. And he froze up in the corner. It's like he was talking all this noise about how big and bad he was. And then when it really came showtime,
he didn't have the balls.
He didn't.
I don't know what the term is, but he didn't rise to the occasion.
He didn't rise to the occasion for sure. So
your thing is not the a-hole. Do you want to know what do you think was the vote?
I'm leaning towards. Go ahead. No, I don't think he's the a-hole. I don't think that community would say he was.
He's the a-hole.
That's what they said?
Yeah. Wow, your whole post is just about all you, and I am going to guess you're the main character in every story. Apparently your wife loves you enough to have a child with you, but maybe it's time to grow up and become a little bit more self-aware. This is not the time to try and grab the spotlight. You the a-hole. Someone else says, I thought it was a joke that went down badly in the moment of high anxiety, but my
Right.
wife has twice the past week told me that I ruined a moment that she hoped would have been one of the best in her life. Oh, this is what he said. They're just
Right.
quoting him. I've apologized both times, but she has this look I've not seen before, something beyond disappointment. It's really put a downer on the past 9 days. So they just said what he said. I don't understand how the F this guy wrote the last paragraph and didn't think to have the introspection to think, oh, that's what she meant. He clearly recognizes that her behavior now is affecting his perception what should be a happy time without being all self-reflective that he did the same thing, only way worse to her. She'd been in labor for 15 effing hours. She was exhausted. She was in pain. There's a room full of strangers watching her privates contort themselves in all sorts of ways. But she'd finally reached a moment when all of that pain and embarrassment would be worth it because she could get to meet her precious little shoo. And just like that, the magic is broken. My thing is so silly.
I'm sorry.
No,
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's, honestly, I wouldn't.
To hold on for it. So this is my thing. To make him pay for this for days,
9 days later
is insane to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of
the
the
thing is-
a-hole move here for me. I'm like, yo, at a certain point in time,
Well,
you
you gotta remember that.
emotions, I get it. But at a certain point in time, it's like, acknowledge it and let's move forward. Because you're starting to damage the relationship now over it. I don't know.
But the thing is,
I feel like
we're looking at it as one situation, right?
Right.
But
He
her
might be
looking at it
stupid all
like,
the
I am
time.
sick of you being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because worse than disappointment is rough.
it feel like old for new. It feel like this
Yeah.
is a buildup of a lot of stuff.
Because it's funny in the moment because,
It is.
okay, he's to us in this story because he just sounds like a bumbling idiot. Like, oh, hey, I'm the dad. Like, obviously, no one cares who you are in the room. You're allowed in the room. You don't have to introduce yourself to
Right.
people. And then he's, I hope it's not bad
Let's-
omen because the
let's-
weather's bad. Like, it just
Yeah.
sounded like he was nervous.
Nervous and just operating from nervous energy.
It was more like, be present, be with me, go through this with me. And this gravity of the moment, I need you to be there. It's a very intense, very, very serious thing that's happening.
And he
And
wasn't
he just
there.
wasn't there.
He just
and
wasn't
that's
there.
the disappointment that she is like, okay, so you couldn't even get and dig into your emotions. Like he couldn't. I had an ex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was making tea or something for him. And I opened up
Hey,
the
tea
can.
for him and didn't make no tea for me today? I'm joking. Go ahead.
I cut
Lord,
my hand.
What is happening?
I cut my hand
No.
on the can
Can.
of milk. It was a can of evaporated milk. And my hand was bleeding badly. It was a deep cut. And he just was like, basically the vibe was, okay, but where's the tea? Because he could not be emotionally, he couldn't watch me be in pain because he doesn't know how to access that part of himself. Not a caretaker, couldn't get emotionally, so he can't see me in pain
Right.
because he can't handle him having to go to that area of his self.
Well, you might not have had the area to go to.
He had a lot going on, so let's not go.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah, but
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying,
I said, I don't know that story, so go ahead.
you know who I'm talking about, though. So the cut was just, he just didn't have the emotional intelligence to be able to go there. So it was like, you need to get yourself together because I don't know how to deal with this, with your pain. I
Right.
can't even deal with mine because I have stuff that I've suppressed
Right.
and I don't access that part of myself for myself.
Right.
So you being a mess, girl, I ain't got it for you.
Don't have it.
Let's forget that happened and let's move
How
on to
quickly
the
can we
tea.
move on to the next thing?
Right. And
That's what it's like
sometimes there are
trying-
people who just don't have, I mean, it's not healthy, but that's neither here nor there in this situation. It's just that she's mad at him because it's like, he said it looks like a look that's more than disappointment and it's been 9 days.
9 days is a long time.
That's a reassessment
Of your
the
whole
partnership.
relationship.
That's not just, oh God, here we go. Or it could be, postpartum is a thing. So, your hormones after childbirth is all over the place.
True.
So she could be going all through all kinds of things we don't know. And he's showing one moment of time in their relationship,
Right.
and she might have been dealing with him
Being stupid for a long time.
right. And it could just be the last straw.
This is, everybody doesn't have the capacity to, just like your situation you described, people don't have the capacity to be there emotionally for somebody else. Everybody just doesn't have it. And, emotional intelligence is rare. Even people struggle with empathy and being able to express it in a healthy way. Most people, when starting to empathize, the story becomes about them.
Correct.
And it's very difficult for a lot of people to put themselves in that space and just be like, well, how does that make you feel? Like, I know how I would feel in that situation, but then how can I say that and then stop and not start telling a story that I'm doing that's the way to my life? Oh, that's funny you said that because my situation. Still no
space.
It's like you got to stop with that. There has to be a moment where you pause and really try to understand what a person is and where they're coming from. I don't think this fella had the capacity to do that. And he was already breaking down prior to this moment. And then he did that sound, which is kind of like, it was just stupid.
Yeah. And I don't agree with the person talking about it's all about you. It's the story from his point of view. How is it?
So I'm going to say this. I feel like women, especially those who have given birth, are going to look at this story completely differently than men. They're going to look at this moment so much bigger than what a man is. Like, we're going to try to be there, but there's a part of it that we're never going to grasp because we did not push out the child. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Somebody here, I missed it, where someone was like, I don't understand what you're saying. He's telling the story from his point of view.
Right.
Like, he's going to say what happened to him and tell the story. Because that's why he's writing it, to get some advice.
Trying to get clarity and they're jumping down his throat.
I think he's an ass, but not an a-hole.
It's just stupid. It's just that's some Homer Simpson
stuff. He has some growing up to do.
Yeah. He's this real, just Duff beer drinking, Homer Simpson basement video game playing. That's just what he is. And it's okay to be all of that. Like, drink your beer, play your video games, and be silly, because sometimes you need a little laughter in your life. That moment might have just been.
If she had also played the game and they were both gamers,
she would have been like, yeah. She would have, because like I said, it brought it back up. I was like, you know what? This is funny that he said that, because I remember
it is a new
how they would just try it out.
It's a new villager for real though.
This fella is wild, because I would never have imagined. And if somebody would have had to explain it to me, had he said, like I said, nobody else in the room got it.
They were focused on.
But this feel like, yo, I low key hate that you play this game. This is some. I'm sick of this. I can't. This has happened on my birthday. This happened on Christmas. Yeah. This happened last Thanksgiving.
Every conversation you have is about
this. We can't never have a serious moment because you come out here and say some stupid stuff over and over and over again, and I'm tired of it. This was a straw that broke the camel's back type situation. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me.
All right.
But anyway, next story.
Okay, moving on. Also, AITH.
You love those?
Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend because he bought his female best friend lingerie as a joke?
You know how I feel about them opposite sex best friends.
Okay.
My guy, boyfriend, he bought her what? Say it one more time for the people.
Lingerie as a joke.
Lingerie. He went to Victoria's Not So Secret.
All right, let me tell you the story.
And bought a best friend, quote unquote, lingerie as a joke.
Let me tell you.
Ain't nothing funny about it, but go ahead.
My boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I love him a lot, and he has been pretty amazing to me. He's also the sort of person who has lots of friends, and his close friends are pretty much family.
Okay.
He also loves to joke and play these harmless pranks on his friends, which sometimes makes me feel weird. Just for context, he has 2 female friends and 3 male friends. This is about my BF and one of his friends, Claire, 28, female. Claire is a nice woman, and we are friendly.
Okay.
My boyfriend also has never ignored me in favor of his friends or talked over me in front of them. Which is why I don't understand him if I'm in the right. Which is why I don't understand if I'm in the right. They, my boyfriend's friends, had a recently escalated prank fight. It made it clear to my BF that I am not good at taking jokes and I'm rather stiff, and he would keep me out of it. He said he would keep me out of it. Okay. I made it clear to my boyfriend that I am not good at jokes and I'm rather stiff, and he said he would keep me out of it.
Okay.
Claire, my boyfriend, and another friend, Kyle, 27 male, even had a huge throwing water balloons fight in Kyle's backyard. Then my boyfriend got pranked with dye in his body wash. Then Kyle got pranked by Claire, something about whipping cream and oven mitts. But the issue was when my boyfriend bought a red, lacy lingerie set, and he planned on putting it in Claire's room the next time he went over. I said it was a tacky prank.
He planned on putting it in her room?
The next time when he went over.
Why?
Can I finish this?
Go ahead. You know, I don't like grown folk doing prank stuff.
I said it was a tacky prank, and why would he buy lingerie? None of the previous pranks have been of this kind, and it makes me really uncomfortable.
Right.
I also felt like if I was Claire, I would feel gross about it. But my boyfriend got mad and defensive and told me Claire is just cool like that, and she would think it's funny. I admit, I get a bit weirded out when he calls Claire extremely beautiful.
Oh my God. And then when they groping each other in the dark and they spend the night over the next
When he
weekend.
puts his pee in her vagina,
Right.
I really hate that.
I'm really
Okay.
disliking this baby that came out. Looks a lot like him, but Claire swears it's not his.
Okay,
They're just
something's in my
friends.
eye.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, here we go.
Ahead. I can't take much more. I can't.
I also feel like if I was Claire, I would feel gross about it, but my boyfriend got mad and defensive and told me Claire is just cool like that and she would think it's funny. I admit I get a bit weirded out when he calls Claire extremely beautiful and jokes about how she's always been way out of his league.
Oh my
but
God.
I thought it was nothing and they were like family, so I guess that was their thing. However, the lingerie prank had me put my foot down, and I said that he was wrong to give another woman lingerie, no matter who, when he had a girlfriend. We fought, and I said I wanted to break up, which he didn't want to, and I said I was just overreacting. He said I was too conservative and needed to open my mind when he said he had never given me a reason to be insecure. Claire called me and said that she and my BF have been friends for a long time, and inside jokes, quote unquote, are just that, and I'll learn more with age. She's 24, they're 28. I still feel weirded out about this. My best friend is supportive of me no matter what I do, but I have started to feel like I'm blowing this out of proportion. My boyfriend says that the fact that he told me and didn't hide it from me shows that I'm the problem.
Oh my God.
I have started to feel like I've blown this out of proportion, and maybe it's my fault I can't take a joke. I really feel awful about this whole thing. Am I the a-hole?
There's a movie called Baby Boy. Okay, there's a movie called Baby Boy. And he has this famous line on it. Mm-hmm. He says, and I said this before, he says, quote, I lie to you because I care about your feelings. I tell these other whores the truth.
Oh, wow.
That's what this feels like to me.
What does it feel like to you?
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like the equivalent of making that statement. Like, I never given you a reason to feel insecure at all.
And I did it in front of your face.
And
so
I
what's
did
your
it in
problem?
front of your face. We're just friends. You need to understand that and just accept it because reasons.
Because of reasons.
I don't like this one bit. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to say this before somebody judges me. Because, I mean, There are some instances where males and females can be best. Excuse me. Males and females can be friends.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with best friends is somebody, not all the time, but somebody often likes the other person. The fact that this man said she is too beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Extremely beautiful.
She's extremely beautiful and she's out of my league means that he's thought about it.
Right.
You cannot play with that because that moment's gonna come when they're gonna need a shoulder to cry on. And if he is already thinking that way. So my first question becomes, have you and Claire ever hooked up?
My first question is, how is this a prank?
It ain't funny.
Tell me what's funny about this.
It's not.
Oh my God, red lingerie in my room.
I'm trying to. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Like, if there's anything, it would have been something. If they want to quote unquote call it a prank, it would be the girl buying it and putting it on his bed to start an argument between him and his. I know, but I'm saying if you're gonna do anything and be like, I'm just playing. That's me. I put that there. He's not cheating on you. But for a man, but hold on a second.
I still wouldn't buy that though. I'd be like, that seems
weird.
Yeah.
It does. But I'm saying before a man to do it to a woman, what is that? You just bought her a gift, sir. That's what that was. I mean, because the appropriate thing to be like, okay, wait, so I'm going to put these boxes over here like it's been a dude laying in your bed. Then maybe that would have made a little more sense. You buy a woman her size lingerie. Thank you.
So here's the edit. The people asking what the prank is with the lingerie. Apparently, it's an inside joke about how during their college days, she has some problems with the color red, and lingerie would have just given her a shock of some kind, I guess. I told my boyfriend it was cruel, but he said it wasn't a trauma thing, just an inside joke.
She had the problem with the color red?
Yes.
Which is like a bull or something? She just did.
Claire also said over the phone that the lingerie thing was just an inside joke of their college days.
I think Claire showed up with some lingerie one time. I don't know. Maybe he always requested to see her in some lingerie or something like that. They got to give me something else.
But she wanted to know, is she overreacting?
I'm grasping for straws because I don't think you've reacted enough.
I think Claire was being condescending with the you learn with age. It's a 4-year difference.
Here's the other thing.
What the heck was that?
You're too old for this.
Y'all are too old. Talking about you, I learn with age. Y'all are the one pranking each other left, right, and center.
You're 30 years old, essentially, having water balloon fights and putting dye in wash.
Sometimes those things are funny.
Yeah,
outside of context, they sound ridiculous. But I've seen some stuff be silly and funny and all in good fun.
Yeah.
So it gets weird when you're bringing it to the lingerie part.
But first of all,
Dye
you're not putting dye. That's what I'm saying. That level of prank is stupid. And you're too old for that. So the fact that there are grown adult people telling you, oh, you'll get it one day. No, she got it one day. Today. Claire got it.
Today she got it.
And you are a fool if you sit there and keep playing. If you love this man, then whatever. But this is some stuff I would get out now. I'm sorry. Because I'm not somebody who tell people to break up, but I would get out now.
She loves him a lot. It just sucks. I think
it's not going to go away.
It's a fundamental thing because this is going to be your life.
Yep.
You're going to get married. There's going to be a prank at these things. You're going to have to talk to them about, please don't do any pranks at this wedding. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a prank war.
That's silly. They're not going to... People's personalities are set at 28 for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not going to change. And if you accept this, hey, this is my best friend, if you are okay with that behavior with him putting lingerie on some y'all my best friend, it's just an inside joke that you don't get, you accept that now.
The extremely beautiful and out of his league would have had me gone.
Way out of pocket.
I'd have been gone then. I don't need
way out of pocket.
Yeah, I don't need lingerie for that. Okay, somebody says the top vote is not the a-hole. You aren't blowing this out of proportion. How is buying lingerie and putting it on someone's room a prank? Quote unquote,
Not
you
funny.
learn with age. There's a 4-year difference between you and Claire. Does she think in 4 years you'll somehow think buying lingerie is acceptable and somehow can be considered a prank? Girl, I'm in my 40s and I can tell you right now that
ain't
would
funny.
never be an acceptable inside joke or prank.
Nope.
And your BF telling you you're the problem because he didn't hide it from you is just plain trying to manipulate / gaslight you.
Right.
You don't need him to agree to dump his ass. You deserve better. Drop him and F Claire too.
Right.
Not literally.
Even though he probably has.
Somebody said, I mean, if she F Claire, it would be a boss move. That's awful. A boss
Slept with your best friend.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
They stupid. I mean, you think of somebody doing all them pranks and all that silly stuff, like
I'm not a big, I like a little silly joke here and there, but long-term prank wars, it's like you can't relax.
I don't like it.
You know?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's okay to be silly and stuff like that, but I don't like that mean-spirited pranks and stuff trying to get a rise out of me doing some wild stuff or making me angry.
And like shampoo, like it was in the shampoo, right? The dye in the shampoo.
I thought he said body wash.
Body wash. Oh, I guess you could see
Even
that.
still, like,
Yeah. Body wash is better than the shampoo because I'm like, you could be shampooing here, have to go somewhere important.
right.
You know,
You're gonna have
be an
dye
issue.
all over your hands and
Right.
stuff. Like, nah, bro, that's not it.
All right. Next story. Am I the... Did you have anything else to say?
No, leave
okay.
him now.
Right.
That's what I gotta say.
Okay, also from the subreddit, am I the a-hole?
We still love him.
Am I the a-hole for not listening to my husband when he told me to go inside? Not really sure how to start, but here goes. My husband's father was over and my husband, 30 male, was talking to him outside. I was inside making dinner and packaging meat for the freezer. I knew they were talking privately outside, so I stayed inside except to run to the garage for more zip ties for the freezer bags. My husband has a heart condition and is attempting to quit smoking because cigarettes will aggravate his condition. So our household is not a smoking household. No cigarettes on the property allowed. All guests know this.
Okay.
Well, after they talked for an hour or so outside, I looked out the window and saw my husband's dad giving my husband a cigarette. So not only did he bring them onto the property, but he offered one to his son with a heart condition.
Crazy.
I was mad about this and went out to confront my husband because he broke his promise. I was told to my husband to go back inside. They were talking. I would have,
like it.
but then his father told me in a very rude tone, yes, whatever her name is, go inside. I was not going to listen to that order on my own property.
Right.
I told my father-in-law that he brought cigarettes onto the property, and not only that, but he offered one to his son, who has been told by the doctor that that even one could cause a stroke. His dad then started hurling insults. So I said that I should get off my lazy ass, I should get a job, that I should do more around the house, and that a few more insults that included cursing. At this point, I'm expecting my husband to defend me from this man. But again, he says to go inside. So I defend myself.
Husband sound like he probably gave that ammunition, because how did dad know she ain't... Never mind, go ahead.
So I defend myself with some of my insults of my own toward my father-in-law. After the fact, my husband told me that he knew what his father had said was disrespectful, but that he wanted me inside so that he could handle it. Because his father doesn't respect women and wouldn't hear it if I was out there. My opinion is that if he won't respect what is said to him while I'm out there, because I'm a woman, he shouldn't be there anyway. Can't respect me, shouldn't be on my property. I don't like or trust him anyway. That's it.
You know, at first when I heard the go back inside, I was just like, oh, that's crazy. You are not the whole young lady. You're not. Because this is a case of dad being out of pocket. Dad is out of pocket. Not only is he trying to cause harm to your significant other and give him something that could take his life, literally, even though it's taking his life slowly, this might speed it up a whole lot
Right.
by giving this man a cigarette. What's alarming to me is the ammunition that the dad got to hurl insults. That means the husband been talking.
Well, I don't know if any of those things are true.
Well, I'm saying if it is true, if she doesn't have a job, whatever,
He says get off her lazy A and get a job and stuff, but she's
to help out around there. She sounded like she was doing stuff.
She was doing something and putting in the
Don't
freezer,
know.
putting up meat in the freezer.
So,
that's called work. It's disgusting work
right.
too.
But what I'm saying is, we got one person writing the story.
She was making dinner and packaging meat for the freezer.
Right.
That's doing something.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. Mm-hmm. I'm saying perception is reality. And if that man felt like he needs some more help around the house in any capacity and has been complaining to the father,
it's possible. Or the dad should just be doing stuff like that, saying stuff like that, because that's what women should be doing.
Possibly is a what's it called? Misogynistic fella.
She could be having a job.
She could, and he don't know. He just talking crazy. Yeah. He just on some make yourself useful.
Right.
You're black. You're ugly. You got legs like baseball bat. Anyway, I think it could be a situation where I don't blame her. I don't blame her for saying, hey, I'm not going inside. Because I do think that in those cases where the defense wasn't going to make a difference, it wasn't going to make a difference. If he told her to go inside and, he's not going to respect women, so I'm going to tell him when the woman isn't around. No, because the defense has nothing to do with whether or not the dad gets it. The dad may never get it.
Correct.
The defense was about making her feel better about what actually transpired here. Defend me as your significant other. That's what it was about. Protect me as your wife. Mm-hmm. That's what it was about. You didn't protect her, and your excuse is going to be, oh, well, he doesn't respect women, so he wasn't going to receive. So he was going to receive as soon as you went in the house. That's the difference between an open and a shut door. No, sir. It doesn't make sense.
The thing is, there was a lot going on in that situation.
It was.
Because the dad offering him the cigarette to begin with.
Insane.
But some old people, I don't know how old they are, where they are in life, but like.
It's like 28 and she's probably like 24.
I don't remember. What? Oh, you're talking about the story? He's 30. So I don't know how old the dad is, though,
It doesn't matter. He's ridiculous for offering his sick son a cigarette.
Yeah, like, he has a heart condition, so that is unreasonable. But some old people will be like, well, I've been smoking 30 years, and I'm completely fine. Nothing ever happened to me. So they don't believe in that stuff. So you can smoke it, and one more ain't gonna kill you.
Right.
Right.
It literally might.
She has the stress of that in her head. Like, one can cause a stroke. One more for you can cause it. So I understand her seeing kind of red and running out there. And saying, what are you guys doing? But
he was already out of pocket, though, because he told her to go inside when that first happened. You remember that?
He should not have accepted the smoke.
No, he didn't. I don't know if he did.
He did. He's been smoking.
I didn't hear that.
Let's go up and see.
He said he offered.
He broke his promise, is what she said. Hold on.
To let cigarettes on the premises is what I was understanding that to be.
I looked at the window and saw that my husband's dad had given my husband a cigarette. Now, so not only did he bring them onto the property, but he offered one to his son with a heart condition. I was mad about this and went out to confront my husband because he broke his promise.
Understood. Okay. All right. Well,
so that alone is rough.
Yeah.
But him saying go inside, let's just say her name's Mary. Go inside, Mary.
I think that was out of pocket. It's out of pocket. And the thing is, it's kind of like, so you're going to be disrespectful. Your father doubled down on it. And then you come back and triple down on it. And then give me the lame excuse that, oh, well, I didn't want to check him in front of you because he doesn't respect women. So I have to disrespect women too so he won't look at me as less of a man.
Right. That's exactly
bruh.
what he did.
That's
That's awful.
It's weak.
It's awful.
Weak.
So what should have happened when he said, even when, okay, let's say
he shouldn't have
none
said
of that
go
should have
inside.
happened, but even if he told her go inside, Melissa, and then the dad goes, yeah, Melissa, go inside. He should have been like, Dad, let me handle
I got this.
Do not get involved. That's my wife, not yours.
That's it.
And then he said, I understand that you're upset. We'll talk about this afterwards.
Right.
Out the cigarette. We'll talk about this afterwards. But can you please go inside?
Right.
He shouldn't have done the whole thing, but if that were to happen, that's where it should have ended.
Right.
But to let the dad hurl insult after insult at her,
and
I would not have hurled insults back at the father. I would have just been like, okay, you heard what he said, and you haven't said anything? This is what you're going to do?
This probably happens, though.
Cool. Maybe.
This probably happens. This is probably, again, when stuff gets to that point, it's somebody being at their breaking point. Like, it's not a one-time occurrence where this is the first time I've had a run-in. Yeah, this is definitely something that did not happen just now for the first time.
Yeah.
This is definitely some old situations that went over and over and over again, and she finally got the courage to be able to say something and stand up to this man because the weight of her husband potentially dying.
That stress. That's why I think the
drove
husband
her outside.
Yeah, that's why the dad should have been like, this ain't nothing but a wife it's not about her being controlling, but more about her being scared.
Yep. But the dad sounds stupid.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Stupid is the word for the day today. Because every time we've talked about a story, somebody's being stupid.
It's not, you did it wrong.
I don't remember it. Shh. Or whatever it is. Whatever.
I don't know. I don't even know what it is. But that's the way he wrote
look
it.
that up, man. I wish I had the ability.
All right.
Are
you ready for the next story?
We've done 3.
Okay. I'm hushing that.
We've done 3. Stupid is the word for the day today. Don't be that. Get yourself a little bit of emotional intelligence. How do you develop that as an adult? It's very
develop
difficult.
What?
Emotional intelligence.
Well,
I feel like that's a challenge as an adult to develop.
If you're out of practice and you have never done it, it's more than likely either you are closer to the spectrum of being in the narcissist side of things, or so emotionally unaware of the wake that you leave behind, because some people are like always catastrophizing or always nervous or always like, oh, what happened? And being like that all the time for everything also has an impact to the people around you. So that also makes you emotionally unintelligent. As an adult, I think the main thing to do would be to get therapy and pray.
Right.
And spend a lot of time doing different things than what you normally do. Because what you're normally doing isn't working. Yeah,
this has been a day of stupidity. That's pretty much the theme of today's Reddit stories. There are no a-holes, just a whole bunch of stupidness. Don't give.
There were some a-holes, just not the
person asking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The a-hole is the father in the last story. The a-hole is Claire on the second story because you're encroaching.
And the boyfriend.
And the boyfriend. Well, no, it is her too.
But Claire calling her and talking to her and trying to bring her down.
Saying, oh, you'll get this when you get older. That's no.
Condescending.
Yeah. Don't let nobody disrespect your relationship.
Or you. You might let them disrespect you in the moment and may not say anything then because it might not be the best thing to do because it'll make the situation worse. But you can set your boundaries from that point on and be like, that's never happening again.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that, Claire. You can have a nice day.
That particular situation, yes. You can walk away from that and be like, I don't have to deal with none of y'all because I'm out of here. Y'all can prank each other till the cows come home.
Right. Y'all keep having fun.
In the first situation, there was no a-hole there either.
I mean, that's when he made the sound. So he's just goofy, bro. Like,
He's an
I don't know. A
ass.
lot of stuff don't bother me as much as it probably should. You know, when it comes to just stupid stuff like that, it's just kind of like.
Okay, you be serious for 1 minute. But that's why we said it sounded like a buildup of things.
It definitely sounds like a build up.
But how to build emotional intelligence is what you said.
Yeah.
If you weren't going to go to therapy, I would think it would be not talking as much and really listening and being more observant, taking on a more observant role in life to see if how people really are and being present in the moment, because a lot of times people aren't in the moment with you. They're somewhere else thinking about other things.
Yeah.
There are ways, and then really
it's
try
tough,
and ask questions.
Like, you have to want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't just
like, it's not just
it.
Hey, we're gonna wake up one day and now I'm gonna be more aware of my surroundings, and you know what? Maybe I should read the room in this hospital, and I'm gonna be very, solemn isn't the right word, but
I don't know if this is relevant to the conversation, but like when you and I are together,
right?
This is gonna sound awful.
It's gonna sound awful. You said no. Okay.
I am not aware of your surroundings whatsoever. I'm just like, you do that. You're gonna do that, and you do it so well. You see everything. Like, we were driving one time in Atlanta. We needed gas, and you were like, I am not driving into that gas station.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, why, in my mind? And you explained why. You're like, every station had a man standing there.
It was two guys at every pump, and no cars.
And no cars.
And I'm like,
this is not have seen that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because unless you pointed it out. Now, when I'm by myself, which I had been for many years, I'm way more in my body. Because I'm like, okay, I need to take care of myself. I need to make sure I see what's going on. Like when I was traveling one time in Spain with my friend, and there was a kid trying to pickpocket her with her zipper. It was like, hey, like, we needed to get it together, like, be more focused, like, that kind of stuff.
They be
like,
looking for people like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, but when I'm with you, I'm like,
right.
That's not good either. But sometimes people just aren't. They choose not to be self-aware.
Right. Because
somebody else will handle it.
Yeah.
And I know that that's an extreme situation, because I'm just kind of like, I'm just like I'm with him. You're checking out all the surroundings. You're like, okay, who's there?
Passenger princess, they call it. That's what it was. It was in the car. You just riding. And it's like, why we not stopping? They're like, we ain't stopping there, and we ain't stopping there. I don't know if you probably have heard people who watch Instagram and on YouTube and stuff. I think it was T.I. Mm-hmm. It was one of them talking about, like, we don't stop and get gas over here.
This is where you're gonna get robbed.
Like, this is a certain part, you trying to get gas, it's nighttime, we not stopping over here. No. And it's like, you have to understand, everywhere ain't like that. You can get gas. And this was the middle of the day, but I was just like, it was two gas stations we passed, and it was right close to each other. I can't remember what exit it was, don't even matter. But it was right next to each other, and I was like, oh no. But I seen somebody on the stroll, a woman of the night, you can tell.
In the daytime.
In the daytime, she was, and I seen all these dudes. I'm like, what is happening here? And I'm like, man, come on, guys. But they waiting for somebody to do that. Just pull up. Hey, I need gas right off the exit, and then you leave.
People like me would get caught up in that. Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't do it if I was by myself, which it would never happen. But especially now that the conversation has happened, right? I would look for that. Yeah. But I don't know. That didn't relate to the story. Sorry, it was a tangent. But
there's moments where people handle stuff differently based on their experiences that they've had in their life, and that's what I'm saying. Like, she knows how this man handles stuff. Or doesn't handle stuff. Yeah, and she married him being that way, and this was just supremely disappointing more than anything. Still, I'd stand by what I said. He's just goofy.
The first guy? I thought about the last guy.
A-hole.
I thought you were saying the last guy.
Oh no, that's that. Yeah, she knows also who she married, and that doesn't seem like something that's going to change. Unfortunately for her, but maybe she can function within their marriage outside of. You want to talk about toxic masculinity? The dad was it.
And I don't think he was going to tell his dad anything.
He wasn't. He was probably scared of his father.
All right, wrap it up, sir.
All right, wrapping it up. Yeah, I want to thank you all again. I should have started out by saying this, but like, comment.
We really
subscribe.
appreciate the comments, guys.
I
Comment.
need comments.
Let us know if you want what stories you want to hear, any subreddits you want to talk about, any stories you can bring to us. We love that.
I want you to share anonymously your own story. I
That
won't tell a soul unless you want me to. Release all the names because some people are messy like that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just playing. But please, thank you for being here. Goodbye.
Bye.